Hey there, it is Eva here from Women Blazing Trails. Welcome back to my channel. For those that are new joining, I do inspirational and motivational videos for women over 50 and men like to come and hang out, and that's cool. Thank you guys for joining. I also do travel videos because I do live in Guatemala. I am a Canadian expat slash immigrant, depends on who you ask. So I do travel videos as well. I also like to do some super random fun anti-aging videos, all kinds of good stuff. Today we are talking about how to change your life. So no matter where you are in your journey in life, and no matter how old you are, maybe you're a 25-year-old watching this, I don't know, but there are different things that, like, we know that we need to change in our lives because we're unhappy, we're miserable, we're depressed, we're sad, we're frustrated, all of those things. You know when it's time. So here's your cue, your signal, if you will, if you know that it's time to change your life, is when you have like this feeling. It's like you can call it like your intuition or whatever, feels like in your soul, in the pit of your belly, when you know something's just not right, and you don't feel content, and you don't feel like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but there's like this little niggly feeling in your belly that kind of, it's like your warning. That's your warning. I can't think of the word for it. It's like, hey, we need to change because this sucks, or we don't like what you're doing, or whatever. So doing anything, changing any part of your life requires courage, it requires confidence, and it requires determination. Those are really the only three factors that you need to start making changes in your life. And sadly, so many of us don't have any of those three things. Because I know I didn't. I stayed in toxic relationships for longer than I should have. I stayed in shitty jobs for longer than I should have. And you know you're unhappy because your soul and your gut tells you that you're unhappy. You know when you feel sick to your stomach, that's your sign that something's got to give and you're not happy. So it's important to, when we're deciding, when we realize, oh, okay, I need to start making some changes in my life because maybe you're not happy in your relationship, or maybe you're not happy with your job, or maybe you're not happy with where you live. I mean, there could be a plethora of things that you're not happy with. So when you start thinking about some of the things that you're not happy with, it's up to you to decide, okay, I can live with these things for the rest of my life and just be miserable, or I can decide that I don't want to live with this miserable thing anymore and I need to change it. So you're probably wondering, who the hell am I, and who am I that makes me the expert on talking about changing things in your life? So I'm going to give you a Reader's Digest version of how I completely overhauled my life. And then I just want to give you a little bit of inspiration and motivation and encouragement to let you know that you can do it too. So I was 52, and I always get the years and the ages mixed up because it just seems like it was a lifetime ago. 52, I had just left an abusive relationship. I had just declared bankruptcy. I had just closed a salon. I owned a business, and it was just sinking. Just closed a salon. I had nothing. I had no belongings when I left my relationship. I left literally with my car, the clothes on my back, and I had a canary at that time. I had nothing. So I needed, at that point in my life, I had two options. I could stay in rock bottom, which is exactly where I was. I could stay there and live there forever and wallow in misery and never do anything to change my life. I could stay there and just be miserable till I died. Or I could pull up my big girl panties and go, okay, you know what, Eva? This shit isn't working anymore. You're 52 years old. Nothing in your life has been working so far. What are you going to do about it now? Like, because you could have potentially another 50 years of life ahead of you. Do you want to stay here in this misery, or do you want to start making some changes and start improving your life? So that was the hardest thing for me, to be honest. It was the hardest thing for me, was to decide, okay, I need to make some really big changes. So I left my abusive relationship. I went back to my old boss and asked for my job back with my tail between my legs. I learned how to become a freelance. So I was a hairdresser for 25 years. I learned how to become a freelance writer. Like, I taught myself how to do that because I didn't know anything about working online. I don't even think I had an email address. Like I didn't know anything about the online world. So I taught myself everything that I needed to learn about working online. I think I have something crawling on me. It's getting on my nerves. I became a freelance writer. I quit my hairdressing job and I left Canada and I packed 2 suitcases, bought a one-way ticket, and I moved to Guatemala. That's the Reader's Digest version of how I completely overhauled my life. And I know, like, I'm not like, oh, you're so crazy. Like, I'm none of that. I'm like a scared little church mouse. I was very scared of everything. Still kind of am, a little afraid of things. Very no self-confidence, no self-esteem. Like, I didn't have anything. Like, I didn't believe in myself. Like, I didn't have any of that. I had to work on me, my inner healing, build my self-confidence, boost my self-esteem, have some self-worth. So I did all my inner healing. After I left my relationship, I had to work on that. And then I started working on making life changes. So it didn't come naturally for me. It wasn't an easy, I just woke up one morning and thought, well, this sucks. I think I'm going to start, becoming a freelance writer and maybe I'll just leave country. I didn't just wake up and decide that. I had to kind of, I don't want to say plan it because I didn't really plan it, but I had to decide these are the things that I want to do with my life. And how am I going to get there? So I wrote all these things out. I want to leave Canada. I want to work online. I want to have more freedom. I still want to make money, but I want to travel. I want to do all that. How do I get there? So I just want to talk. I don't want to talk anymore about that. That's my experience. And that's how I feel that I have enough authority to talk about this because I completely overhauled my life at 52 or 53. So I think the biggest thing that holds many of us back is fear. We are afraid of change. We are afraid of failure. If I do that, I'm going to fail. Well, let me tell you, when I decided that I was going to become a freelance writer, I wrote for free, and I would just write articles and I would send them to like all these high authority sites. And I had a binder and I had all these pages in the binder of sites that I applied to and articles that I wrote. And every one of them said no. For over 6 months, I wrote every day and everybody said no. And I just thought, that's okay. Somebody's going to say yes. Somebody's going to say yes. So you have to take failure out of the equation. You can't think that, I'm going to try this, and if it doesn't work, well, fuck it, I'm going to give up. You can't have the give up mindset. You have to be determined. You have to be determined that, no, this is where I want to go in life because where I am right now sucks. This is where I want to be, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get me there. And you're going to go through hard times. You're going to go through challenges. You're going to come across obstacles. You're going to come across rejections. You're going to hit all of that, but you have to keep going. You can't give up. And I think the biggest problem with too many people is that we give up too soon. And then you stay stuck where you are, and then you're miserable, and then you die. And that was your life. And that's a shitty way to live. That's not what we're here for. We're not here to be miserable and stay in a shitty existence and then just fucking die. That's not what you're here for. So I want you to, if you can, and I'm going to drop a bunch of links down below that I think might be helpful. I want you to try to map out what you want your life to look at. Like maybe you're in a shitty relationship and it's time to leave. I left my relationship with nothing. So don't tell me, I can't leave, I don't have anything. I didn't have anything either. So you're not a tree, you're not stuck anywhere. You can pick up and leave. If you're somewhere in a relationship that isn't making you happy or is really abusive, emotionally abusive, anything, you need to pick up and leave because you don't deserve to live like that. And you're going to say, oh, Eva, it's easier said than done. No, it's not. It's not easy to do. I understand that. I did it, and it took me a long time to decide to leave that relationship. And when I finally did, the whole universe opened up for me. Like my whole world blew wide open. And I was like, oh my God, now I can do this, and now I can do that, and now I can do all these really cool things that I want to do with my life. I had to do some inner healing work first, of course, but I did them. So I want you to find tools. I will drop some things, some links down below. I have a cat hair again in my nose. Find the tools that are going to help you with your courage, face fears, and people all around do all kinds of bold and ballsy things to change their lives every day. And they're no different than you and me. There's nothing that makes them any more special than I am or than you are. Nothing. They just, they are people with a desire to make their life better and to live life to the fullest. That's everybody's dream. We all want to live our life to the fullest and be happy. These are the people that have decided to do what they got to do to get there. So they're no different than you or I. They're not. They found courage, they faced fear, they had determination, and they just went balls to the wall and they did it. So I want you to look at your fears and write them out. What's stopping you from doing this? Well, here are my fears. I'm afraid of failing. I'm afraid of what people are going to say. Okay, before we even go on, it doesn't matter what people say. To hell with everybody else. Nobody else is living your life or paying your bills. You are. These people aren't doing it. So don't worry about what people think. Don't worry what people say. Like you need to stop thinking about that, because that is going to be your biggest downfall. So don't. So write out your fears and then find ways to face those fears. Take a small little step. Maybe you want to own a coffee shop one day. Here, let's just look at that. Maybe you want to own a coffee shop. So why don't you just go to a coffee shop and talk to the owner and say, hey, how did you start? Just, do a little bit of research. So I want you, and I don't want to make this video long and boring and talk for hours and hours. I want you to make the decision that you are going to change your life. You want to change your life, and you are going to change your life. So the first step is to decide, yes, I don't like where I'm living or how I'm living or where I'm living or my cat, or what my life is all about. I don't like any of that. So I'm going to make the decision today that I'm going to do what I got to do to change my life. So make the decision. Number 2, I want you to do research on what it is that you have to do to reach some of your goals. What are some of your goals? Write them out. What are some of your dreams? Write all those things out, and then do a little bit of research and find out what you have to do. How can I reach goal number 1? What does it take to reach goal number 2? Do a little bit of research. And number 3, I want you to start doing scary things. Find courage and start doing even little scary things, like, I don't know, going for a road trip by yourself. Maybe that's something that you've never done, or maybe going to a coffee shop by yourself, or I don't know what your fears are, but start doing one little scary thing every day until you finally, you're just like, oh, well, this is cool. And you'll realize after you've done like a scary thing, you'll be like, oh, well, that wasn't so bad. Like, what on earth? Why was I so afraid all this time of doing this? That's not so bad. So for example, so when I was leaving my relationship, I was terrified out of my tree. Also, when I was leaving Canada and moving to Guatemala, I was also terrified out of my tree. So once I did them, and then once I left my relationship, I was like, oh, that wasn't so bad. And now I feel a bajillion times better. And then I left my country, and then I came to Guatemala, and I got here, and I was like, well, that wasn't so bad, because they're not so bad. They're only big and scary in our head. They're not so bad. People everywhere do crazy things all the time. Life is meant to be lived to the fullest. If you can hear my cat, she's playing. Sorry, she's having zoomies. So I really want you to stop using excuses. I can't, I'm too afraid, I don't know how. Those are 3 bullshit excuses. I can't, I don't know how, and I'm too afraid. You figure it out. Yes, you can. And start facing your fears. So, I think that's all I have for you, because I just really felt the need that people just people feel like they're stuck and they can't. And I think, and I mean, it took me 52 years. So I'm not, I mean, I was one of those people that thought, I can't leave my boyfriend. I can't leave my job. I can't leave this. I can't do that. I can't. I was one of those people that said that I can't. But this is what keeps us where we are, and that's in a miserable existence, is because we have convinced ourselves that we can't. I can't do this. I can't do that. And we have all these excuses. And I want you, for next time that happens, next time you want to think about doing something, and the first thought that comes up in your mind is like, oh, I can't. I want you to stop it right away. Wait a second. I'm going to try. I want to at least try and see what happens. I want you to start doing that. Just stop saying I can't. Seriously, just stop and start saying, I'm going to try and at least see what happens. And then, your whole life is going to change. I promise you. Everybody wants to change their life, but nobody wants to do anything about it. Your life isn't going to change just because you think it's going to, because you want it to change. Your life is going to change because you want it to change. You have the desire to make a change, and you're actually going to make changes. You can't just think about it and not do anything about it. You have to actually apply yourself and make changes in your life, because nobody's going to do that for you. Nobody is going to do that for you. All right, that's it. Now I'm just babbling. I love you. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you a little bit of inspiration. I really hope it did. Don't forget to check out all the super cool links down below. Pardon me. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'm uploading twice a week now, and I am posting daily shorts. I'm trying something out, posting daily shorts. So click the notification bell and you will get notified every time I upload a new video. I hope you all have an amazing day, and I will catch y'all back here again real soon.